across the U.S. to cancel picture day due to Leon Black's Epstein file involvement. Pretty sad when local schools are more aware of doing more than our own government. Honestly, so pathetic. Leon Black, through Apollo Global Management, owns LifeTouch, the company that dominates school photography in America. Of all the businesses, someone with Epstein ties could own a company with direct access to children's photos is probably the most alarming. So this is Leon Black. And LifeTouch ownership, that group Apollo, they do own LifeTouch photos. But that's not even the most damning thing when it comes to Leon Black, right? So we talked before about the company LifeTouch, how they're in the Epstein files. And there is this allegation that this could have been used as some type of catalog, like taking these pictures, storing that information, and basically having a catalog of children. But let me show you something else that Leon Black did. It's probably the most damning here. We also get into this about here, the database. Again, Power to the People is talking about that. Your children's photos are being uploaded to a database that is owned by a pedophile. Again, Leon Black. And I'm going to say this for all the parents who are watching as well. Hear me loud and clear. Please do not post your children's faces on social media. A friend of mine who has multiple kids, when she takes a picture with her kids, if she puts it on social media, she blurs their faces. Don't put your kids' faces on social media, because predators have been known to use that too. You thinking it's just a family photo. Predators look at it as something else. Leon Black, in the Epstein files, I'll make this bigger for you so you can see this along with me. This is May 26th of 2023. Call with Gene Christensen, Wigdor LLP referral. Leon Black, Wall Street person, 72 or 71-year-old now, founded largest private equity global fund that exists today that's publicly traded. One of Epstein's friends, very powerful. Another reason why you don't want to like this guy, freaking runs private equity global fund. We've talked about the dangers of private equity on this show before, how they've come for the housing market and more. 7 to 8 years, Black was sexually violent with her. 7 to 8 years old. The name here is redacted. So again, for people like Megyn Kelly, there are different ages all throughout the Epstein files. It is alleged that Leon Black bit parts of her, we will say, female anatomy on this show. Violence was something that was arousing for him, very painful for her. JC represented victim for civil defamation case, not sex abuse case. Went to USAO in Manhattan, May or June of 2021. JC doesn't represent her anymore. Let's go on. Here's another one. Got a call from a victim woman who said that she heard about lawsuit against Black. Victim said Black assaulted her around 20 years ago, 2001 or 2002 in Epstein's townhouse. And this is why I continue to say, stop buying the narrative of someone saying they didn't go to the island. Epstein had multiple properties. There were things that were done on these other properties as well. So this incident is alleged to be 2001, 2002. Victim described it, felt pain. Something sharp inserted in the female anatomy. I'm trying to be as PC as possible here. On a massage table with the head on the floor, legs on his shoulders, excruciating pain. Spoke with blank at the Manhattan DA's office, blank at DA's office. Substance abuse problems in 1990s, preyed on by Epstein, gave massages to Epstein and Black for money. lives in blank now. Abuse happened in New York. So there needs to be something said for those crimes that took place in New York. Here's another one. Minor victim at Epstein's townhouse was told to give Leon Black a massage, violently assaulted by Black. 16-year-old when assaulted by Black. There's a lot of redactions here. Biological mother is blank. Biological father is blank. Both alive. Has lived with them since 2012 when attending blank, where a counselor in charge of the students with blank. Black used adult toys and inserted into the victim's areas. Victim felt severe pinching on her female anatomy and obviously began to bleed. Black and others at Epstein's house would not take her to the doctor and instead flew her out of New York the next day. Victim did not go back to New York after that. Next few years was in Palm Beach or the U.S. Virgin Islands. Multiple alleged incidents against Leon Black in the Epstein files. This man should have been thrown under the jam jail. Miss Pam Bondi, who told you months ago there was nothing to see here, they all saw this, they all knew this. They knew it. And they're still trying to protect people. Even when this was revealed, the Epstein files show prosecutors investigated Leon Black for sexual abuse allegations, but they didn't charge him. Of course, they didn't charge him because he's rich. This is why I'm trying to tell you guys. Goes on here. Neither the local Manhattan District Attorney's Office nor the federal U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, the two departments examining the accusations against Leon Black, brought charges against him. The newly public files include dozens of emails, internal memos, and records of calls with lawyers for Black's accusers going back to 2019. They include the first known instance that prosecutors investigated whether there was wrongdoing related to Black. Two of the women who drew the attention of prosecutors alleged that he assaulted them in Epstein's Manhattan mansion in 2002. So when you hear Trump say, I didn't go to the island, when you hear Bill Gates say, I didn't go to the island, they are trying to mislead you and everyone else. It's not just about the island. Notice you never hear them say, I didn't go to that townhouse. I didn't go to Zorro Ranch. Young girls. Very sad. Very sad. They did nothing. Nothing. Again, children. You hear that, Megyn Kelly? Children. Let's get into the payment controversy. Leon Black's payments to Jeffrey Epstein and leadership transition. In 2021, Apollo co-founder and then CEO Leon Black stepped down amid scrutiny over his financial relationship with financier Jeffrey Epstein, including reporting that Black paid Epstein $158 million for tax and estate planning advice and related services. The episode drew broader attention because Epstein was later federally charged in the Southern District of New York with sex trafficking related expenses. One of the things I want you to pay attention to is this idea of we just had a financial relationship. Bill Gates said that, oh, it's financial, or we were talking about philanthropy. Everyone's trying to say it was just finance or it was just business, as if they had nothing to do or knew anything about any of this. And that's crazy, considering some of these people started hanging out with him after he was charged. Leon Black has a son. His name is Benjamin Black. He's considered to be an investor. This guy right now is a part of the Trump administration. So when you heard Marjorie Taylor Greene say that Donald Trump is trying to protect his friends, he said that my friends would get hurt. Here's one of those friends. Benjamin Black is an American investor and chief executive officer of the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation. That's him. He is the son of Leon Black. See how this works? Another reason to despise this dude, again, worked in private equity, worked for Daddy at Apollo Group Management, also worked for Goldman Sachs, Sullivan and Cromwell. Let's go on more here. Epstein correspondence and family financial ties. Jeffrey Epstein's executive assistant, Leslie Groff, emailed Black and his brother, Joshua Black, about Epstein commissioning painted portraits of the brothers as a gift for their father, stating that Epstein had co-signed an artist at the New York Academy of Arts and that each would need to meet with the artist. In the same email exchange, Benjamin Black replied, "Sounds good to me." So do you see? Now here's the nomination for the Trump administration. On June 18th of 2025, President Donald Trump nominated Benjamin Black to serve as the CEO of the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, succeeding Scott A. Nathan following his resignation. In announcing the nomination, President Trump said Black would apply his financial and deal-making experience to advance U.S. interests abroad. The nomination drew attention due to his limited background in foreign policy and legislative affairs. On October 7th, 2025, he was confirmed. He just got in there. Another person with limited experience, but also pro-Israel. Interesting how a lot of these people that were friends with Epstein just seem to make their way as part of Trump's administration, whether it's Benjamin Black or Howard Lutnick. Almost as if they're protecting and looking out for each other. Isn't it? When we look here, there's other troubling things about Leon Black. Gen X Girl pointed out that folks are discovering lots about Leon Black today, but some of us have been posting about him and his partner, Mark Rowan. C7Cs post in December about Leon Black and Life Touch. I've also posted a lot about Mark Rowan, who Trump recently appointed to the Board of Peace. Another one of Epstein's friends. Mark Rowan is a billionaire Zionist appointed to the Trump Board of Peace, is in the Epstein files, where he met with Epstein several times, along with the Rothschild bankers. His partner, Leon Black, was also involved with Epstein and sued for sexually assaulting a 16-year-old girl. Here's a piece of the article here. So you have someone that's a part of the Peace Board, which isn't really peace, also connected to Jeffrey Epstein, and of course, a Zionist. Now, this is Mark Rowan. Mark Rowan worked with Leon Black. We'll go on to show more here. I think we'll go to the next part here. More about Mark Rowan. Trump appointed swamp creatures to his Gaza Board of Peace, but let's highlight one you may not know about. Mark Rowan, Zionist billionaire, Apollo Capital, paid for Eric Adams' $34,000 Israel trip, bullied schools to censor anti-Israel speech. Partner, Leon Black, Epstein associate, of course, assaulted the 16-year-old girl with autism and mosaic Down syndrome. These people are evil. Received Jerusalem Post Award for his Israel efforts. So top executives at group that paid for Mayor Adams' $34,000 Israel trip have business interests before his administration. So remember when Eric Adams made that expensive trip to Israel? Mark Rowan paid for that. These people don't pay for trips. They don't spend $30,000 or $40,000 for you to go on a trip just because they like you. They want something in return. Now you see why Eric Adams went as hard in the paint as he did for Israel when he was mayor of New York City. They're all connected. Two top executives at the philanthropic organization that bankrolled Mayor Adams' recent trip have significant business and lobby interests before his administration. The matter involves Mark Rowan and Eric Goldstein, respectively, the chairman and the CEO of the United Jewish Appeal Federation of New York, which picked up the tab for Adams' stay in Israel. All of it, all connected. And then you see why they don't serve us. We go on to show you something else because they think we're stupid. Look at what was sent 1 month before Trump was inaugurated his first term. Here's another one from Epstein to Bill Gates. This is December 20th, 2016. Come to visit the island. New administration people visiting. I'll say it again for the people in the back. Come to visit the island. New administration people visiting. That was December of 2016, Trump's first term. That was Jeffrey Epstein announcing to Bill Gates that the new administration was coming to visit. The politicians in bed with the bankers and buddy with Jeffrey Epstein. Why would new administration need to go visit Jeffrey Epstein's island? That's how deep this corruption goes. That's going back to 2016. Trump been knew. They all knew. I'm going to share this with you guys in the chat so you can look at that one on your own if you want to as well. Bill Gates also, again, it was sent to him. So Bill Gates knew too. See how that worked? Now, I just want to take you back to what Jeffrey Epstein Butler said. Again, this was years ago. Epstein Butler's caught on FBI sting in 2009, trying to sell the little black book. Listen to what he said.
Are you? Me too. Come on in. How are you? Good. Yeah, the documents. Who created this book?
Intentionally himself. I have it there, and also my computer, and just in case of power failure. He was very organized, so I was supposed to have made this to every plane and every thing. Just there's the computer was ready with water. First time in my life I saw that to keep it cool, because they used to download pictures like this, just like that.
What kind of pictures?
Naked girls from Sweden, from Romania, from Czechoslovakia, from Brazil, from Colombia.
Romania, Sweden, Brazil, Romania. Sound familiar?
Romania, from Czechoslovakia, from Brazil, from Colombia.
All young girls?
Very young, very young.
Like when you say very young, how young are you talking?
16, 17. The teenagers, they have braces, most of them.
Younger than that though?
Yeah. And they used to go out to comedy shops or ice cream parlors or movies, a lot of movies. Because it was paintings, ice cream and comedy and movies. Remember that they would stay even if you erase them. I know the rest would say there's Ghislaine Maxwell was his former companion, a very powerful lady from England. She would go to the former Eastern countries in Europe and find girls for Epstein. And I knew that because I went.
She would go to the former those Eastern countries in Europe to recruit girls. Now, again, remember when we all brought up that nonprofit that Erica Kirk had in Romania, that some of those people came forward and said that they were abused and that they were trafficked? Remember that? Now, do I have proof that Erica knew about that? No, I don't have proof that she was actually physically a part of that. I don't have proof about that. But it's just interesting. Again, Romania, Ghislaine Maxwell just happened to be out of all the countries. She just happened to make sure she picked that one. Let's continue. I think this is where he said, yeah, she would go to those Eastern Bloc countries.
In Europe and found girls for Epstein. And I knew that because I went with my wife. They used to have a computer so powerful. They used to have a water radiator to cool the computer because they used to download pictures like that so fast. Girls, she has nice breasts, she has this and that.
You saw that stuff?
Yeah.
On the computer?
Yeah.
Pictures of the girls?
Mm-hmm.
When they naked and stuff like that?
Yeah, I testified that.
He testified. The FBI first interviewed Rodriguez in 2007. 2007. Jeffrey Epstein could have been seriously, jailed these people if they wanted to. Now, just imagine that it's not Epstein and this socialite from the UK, and imagine that it's Roscoe working at, Dunkin' Donuts, or imagine that it's Suzanne, like waiting tables at, I don't know, the Olive Garden. Y'all would have been in jail. You see what I mean? But because it's wealthy people's, we turn a blind eye. And then it doesn't help that you also have people that, as again was alleged via Maria Farmer, that were CIA and also NYPD, which is revealed in the Epstein files recently we talked about. When you had people that worked for the NYPD, worked for the FBI, also CIA, Maria Farmer said Epstein was also CIA, you're protected because you got people on the inside. You don't get away with this for this long without having some type of protection in the system. So all these people knew, they were all involved in the cover up, and there's a lot of blackmail that was going on. And let me tell you, the DOJ, they're trying to be sneaky. They think they're slick. So they dropped this list, right? They released this list of a bunch of names. And so I think they're trying to be a smart ass. They put people on the list that had nothing to do with the files. And then they added names and then made sure that they protected some names, right? So like at one point, here we go, Janis Joplin. Janis Joplin was dead. You see what I mean? So they trying to be funny and adding all these other names while still protecting other names. So these people are corrupt. Aaron Parnas shared it. The DOJ has sent over a letter to Congress outlining why it made redactions to the Epstein files. The 6-page letter, also includes a list of all government officials and politically exposed persons in the files. But then Aaron came back and said, breaking, one Epstein survivor tells me this evening that this letter released by the DOJ is missing a few names. A few? Really? Just a few? So they're literally laughing and playing in our faces. Thomas Massey was recently on ABC News this morning. I want to show you what he said here.
Sentence. And finally, I know the DOJ wants to say they're done with this document production. The problem is...
Here we go.
Sentence. And finally, I know the DOJ wants to say they're done with this document production. The problem is they've taken down documents before we were able to go over to the DOJ and look at the unredacted versions. They took down some of the most significant documents, two of them involving Virginia Giuffre's case and other things. The picture of Epstein in a room where it's got CIA written on the boxes, that's been taken down. We want to be able to look at all these files. They can't keep those documents down after they've already produced them.
So again, definitely still hiding information. Eric, can we go to the next part here about Marjorie Taylor Greene? Let's go ahead and bring that in. Still hiding information again, because they were still protecting people like Leon Black. like Benjamin Black. These are corrupt, powerful people, and they're still trying to protect them. Like the magician. Everybody keeps saying the magician. There's a magician. There's a magician. Everybody knows the magician you're talking about is David Copperfield. But for some reason, I don't know, people feel like they got to protect his damn name. What's done in the dark will come to light. You'll see here, even so-called independent media is trying to protect the administration. They're trying to protect Donald Trump. They're using the same freaking words. These so-called new media accounts, or they're saying we're the truth. Alex Jones. Watch this. They're all using the same words. Alex Jones. This backfired bigly on the left. Powerful Dems like Bill Clinton mentioned 1,193 times, and others busted Alex Jones. Eric Daughtry. Epstein has backfired on the left. Multiple powerful Democrats have been exposed, and Trump has been vindicated. These people just bend over and kiss Trump's ass. Like literally Donald Trump can stand there, bend over, put out the two cheeks, and they would happily bend over and kiss his ass. So the so-called new media, new independent media, some of these people are not independent from the establishment. They're still very much corrupt. So you have to be very careful about that too. There are people going around saying that they're independent, and they're doing the bidding of the establishment. Eric Daughtry is probably one of the worst. This Gunther Eagleman guy, also a professional Trump ass kisser. This backfired bigly on the left. Powerful Dems like Bill Clinton, literally the exact same verbiage as Alex Jones. I wouldn't be surprised if all these people are not in like a Twitter DM group, and they all come up together like, this is what we are going to say. They tweet it out at the same time. So that way it gains traction in the algorithm. And that's how they get millions and millions of views on Twitter. It's all coordinated. These people ain't worth shit. And I've been saying this for the longest time. Don't be fooled by the so-called independent truth media that still bends over to kiss Trump's ass. So there you go. So you got to be careful there. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, she came forward also recently on another podcast, and she made it very clear that Donald Trump was the one who was trying the hardest to stop these files from coming out. Listen closely.
That fight to release the Epstein files came directly from President Trump. And I know a lot of people have a hard time with that, but that is the truth. He fought the hardest to stop these files from being released. That fight to release the Epstein files came directly from President Trump. And I know a lot of people have a hard time with that, but that is the truth. He fought the hardest to stop these files from being released.
So he fought the hardest to stop those files from being released because all his friends are in there. His buddies are there. I think I want to sum it up with what this guy said here. I think he hit the nail on the head about the disgust that we've seen.
Well, I just made the biggest mistake probably that I've ever made in my life. Last night, couldn't sleep, looked at the files, started with documents, moved on to video, and my God, bloody hell. We're living in bloody hell. I had to stop because I can't unsee what I saw. In my life, I watched horror movies, not even close. Blood-curdling screams of young kids, the fear in these children. These people are the devil walking earth. The devil is on earth. It was horrible. Unaliving of children. The idea that they've been unaliving children cutting up intestines and eating them, unaliving babies, violating, essaying these children. I mean, I've never in my life, if you had told me in my wildest dreams, I swear, maybe I'm naive. Am I naive? But if you told me in my wildest dreams that this kind of thing was happening in this country,
probably would have never believed it. Probably would have never believed it. Because the reality is, at the end of the day, some of the things that I saw, I can't show on here. I told you guys it's really bad. I'm actually surprised the Leon Black one was not completely removed because of the age of the victims. And there it's far worse. There are far worse things in there. And that's why I say it's not for those that have a weak stomach. There are definitely multiple pieces that I've seen in the files that talk about cannibalism. These are evil people. And they did these kind of things in the dark for so long, but it's like I said, what's done in the dark will eventually come to light. And we go back to what Eric said before too, about it's gotten to the point now where they're not able to keep things secret. The establishment, the billionaires, the corrupt people, they're not able to keep things secret anymore. And that's why you see them trying to silence people. That's why they're trying to take over and shut down these platforms, because the best detectives are the grassroots, not the FBI. But really disgusting things. And I don't know, you guys. For people who tell you for years that they care so much about children, to just say, look the other way, that should tell you everything. But I end this segment with this. This is the same government that aided and abetted a genocide. Both parties did that. And this is where the crimes of the empire come home. Yeah, they don't care about the kids in Gaza, but they don't care about kids here either. Think about that. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.